I'm not actually sure how I even got here. um, I know it was in a car. I'm just not sure I drove it.
Well, it is the 1920s, so everybody really has a 15 driving skill. A 50 is remarkable.
That's a good point. All right,
Yeah.
15's average.
Yeah, like that's normal.
So I'm still below average at a 5.
Vehicles are still made out of cast iron. You just drive through shit.
Welcome to Dungeon Brew.
Welcome to our second session for DungeonBrew's Call of Cthulhu 7th Edition Dance of Madness. We are excited to have you back, and if you're enjoying this content, and I hope you'll explore the other content that we have on Dungeon Brew, please like and subscribe so that you can see all of the additional stuff and the continuations of this series. Let's start with our investigators and get a recap of what's going on for them and some of the things that have stood out from our last session that might have impacted them or piqued their interest or whatever tickles their fancy. Let's see what it is going or what's going on for them. Let's start with Jack.
So it was honestly, I mean, it was for Jack, the arresting, the shadow demons, like the shadows. That's all kind of par for the course, honestly. Nothing really stood out abnormal to him other than, he feels a little closed off and defensive right now with there are no civilians going around. Like it's the town in of itself is a question, and that's it definitely piqued his interest a little bit. How that ties into why he's here. The rest of the group that he's currently with, he has some feelings on. Declan, he feels being the most trustworthy of the group, just because there is a bond there that they share in a previous occupation. So, aside from that, Jack is kind of Jack's day to day right now. Like this is what he's used to. So nothing is really weird to him yet. It's just more questions than he's getting answers. And he's running low on cigarettes, so that kind of pisses him off a little bit.
Let's go to Theo.
Excited about the events of the previous session. He spent a lot of his time reading and kind of researching into this stuff, but he actually hasn't seen a lot of it in the real world. So being able to be in the middle of those kinds of events and see it firsthand is kind of really interesting to him. And he's curious to see how far this goes. And he really just hopes Simon doesn't end up dead come the end of it. He is kind of worried about the police, not sure what's going on there. Fake police pretending to be other police arresting us. He's real wary about what's going on there and is looking for a way to get him and Simon away from them.
Let's go with Declan.
Yeah, I took a different route with this because I'm going to talk through Declan's point of view. So,
Okay.
I found myself in Angst searching for answers. The place was a jumble of blarney, books piled high, and strange jars filled with who knows what. I couldn't make heads and tails of it. I ran into 3 other fellows, Theo, Simon, and Jack. Men caught up in their own troubles. Can't say nothing about any of them yet. But before I could get answers, we discovered Hank was dead. Next thing I knew, we were being dragged into a mess. Hooded and arrested by men I thought were the local cops. Something felt off about them. Felt off about the whole situation. So I kept my mouth shut during their questions. They left us locked up, but left a young officer, Parker, to watch over us. Poor bloke was... well, I do not know how to say it. Some kind of darkness came out of the wall, grabbed him and tried to drag him off. I tried to hold on to him, but it was no use. When they were gone, half of him was gone, and the other half, well, wasn't enough to keep going. I swiped some keys off his pocket and freed us. There was nothing to be done for the stiffs, so we ran, right into the arms of the feckin' scut cops. Jack seemed to catch the tune of their fiddle, figured out they were from Boston. They were more interested in a book than Hank's murder, or their own Parker. made my skin crawl. I learned they thought Simon was important too, something to do with his family's money. So I struck a deal with one of those Boston cops. Let Simon go with me, and I'd hand over the book they were hunting for if I came across it. Keeping him close seemed more value than a book I didn't have. Now we're headed back to Hank's shop, hoping to dig deeper into this whole mess.
And now Simon.
I didn't come here to get sore over a couple of spooks. At this time, I'm not sure what exactly I am seeing. It simply isn't adding up. I came to Chaplin to get some information for my playwright, my script, from Angst, but I ended up in the cooler. The coppers called me a cheat, a chump, and even had the nerve to think I was a clout who had lifted some book. Heaven knows I have enough cabbage that there was no reason to give me the 3rd degree. In the moment, I am trying to understand my companions and their intentions, especially my butler, who I thought I could trust, though there seems to be more to him than meets the eye. In the meantime, I am taking the back seat and hiding what I can. I even have my gun cheesed away. I don't think anyone knows I have it, and I want to keep it that way. I am just gonna follow along and keep my mouth shut. In the end, I might end up swimming with the fishes, but at least I'll be going down in my glad rags.
I have a quick question that's completely... So, Declan was the first one to come across all of our gear by the tables.
Yeah.
Did I notice that there were 4 guns out? Like, were those hidden under our piles, or was, like, the gun sitting on top? Is that something that Simon successfully hid from all of us?
No, in that instance. I think it's just that he hasn't necessarily... I don't think really any of you have shown that you've had a gun, but I think in his head it could be that he still has it hidden, because he actually didn't grab his stuff. Theo grabbed his and brought his stuff to him.
Right.
So, I think that's something you would be aware that everyone seemed to have a gun.
Okay.
Someone has 2.
We are going to get back to the police station. Some time has passed, probably about 15 minutes or so. As people are moving around, getting things prepared, you will have Detective Pike, who had been talking with Declan and seems to be kind of the leader. He will order Officer Stevens and Detective Confer go with you, and they'll have 3 officers with each of them. They're going to take a car, and they have a car that you all can drive as you head there, with the advice that they have some sort of natural light. There was talk about like setting the desk on fire in the building, but they figured that might be problematic because of all the smoke that it might create. They suggested having torches, and so some torches have been made, and you all will be handed 8 torches that you can light up and utilize if you need to at the time. You do still have, I think most of you have some sort of flashlight as well that you have available. But as you remember or recall, that artificial light seems to be impacted when these shadow beings or whatever they are appear. So with that said, you're going to head out the front door and you are going to load up in your car. Now, as you're getting in the car, we're going to talk about what seats you're all sitting in. You'll have one person being the driver, one person that's sitting next to them potentially being the navigator, and the other 2, you can have sort of roles that you're doing. If the navigator is assisting the driver gets to add 1 advantage dice to their rolls. If the navigator is doing other actions like leaning out the window and shooting something or whatever, then they do not get that benefit, just so you're aware.
Do they get any benefits from backseat drivers?
No, that's a penalty.
That's a negative
It
one.
might be. I haven't thought about that. Although you might get a bonus if you tell them to shut up or you'll pull the car over.
Don't make
Yes.
me go back there.
I will turn this car around.
I'm going to drop.
How long do the torches last?
Oh, I would say that they could probably last for about at least 30 minutes or so.
30 minutes per torch.
Yeah.
Well, Simon is going to make his way to the back seat because I don't ride in the front seat.
You have a preference, Jack?
I
I don't think any of us can navigate right, because that's still the driving skill.
There's a navigation skill, actually.
Oh.
I have a 10 on navigate. And I was wrong. I have a 20 on drive, but a 5 on ride. so apparently I can't ride in a car. But I can.
That's
You're a
Ride a
bad
horse.
backseat driver.
On the
Oh,
roof.
that's riding a horse.
Yes.
Oh, there is a horse icon there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Navigate's
I'll
the same
navigate.
for me. I think all of us are probably a navigate of 10. So
Yeah.
Well, and what I'm going to do is you won't actually have to roll to navigate. It's more like you're just helping the driver see things.
Yeah.
And so the driver will just get a roll an additional dice on there.
Yeah,
One
so
plus
it's
on there.
it's a crapshoot. It doesn't matter to me one way or another unless you just.
I'll pop up in the front.
Okay, I'll sit.
All right, I'm going to move.
Probably a good idea not to put the oldest man in the front to spot check stuff.
Ah! What the hell is that?
As you load up in the car, you will notice that you are in the middle. There's one car in the lead and another car behind you. Officer Stevens will be the car in the lead, and Confer will be the one behind. And you're going to start making your way down the street. It is starting to get dark, and you will see on the main street, you're driving down Main Street, there are cars parked along Main Street. They seem to be almost in the same that you saw when you came in. None of them have moved. The shops have all look like they're closed, which wouldn't probably have been out of the ordinary at this time, that shops closed fairly early. They weren't open late at night. So you're driving down the street, but the cars are there. You're not seeing any signs of life in the town. There are street lights that are lighting your way, but other than that, it's just dead along the street.
What time of year is it?
It is October.
Okay.
So as we're heading along, Jack's going to look for any kind of iconography, writing, anything like that on the buildings as they pass, or cars, whatever. Obviously, I mean, mostly on my side of the vehicle. I'm not going to,
Reach over the driver and lean over
right.
him.
But mostly my side of the vehicle. Looking at the buildings, cars, any iconography, symbols, writing, anything.
Roll me a spot hidden. So what did you roll?
8. I rolled
Okay,
an 8
you rolled an
for
8. That's an extreme success.
Extreme success.
Yes. What you're seeing on Main Street, it feels like it's technically right, but it also feels fake. Even the cars, as you pass by, they're almost, it's like you start to see a pattern that they're spaced out so far apart. The cars themselves look like they haven't been moved in a long time. It's more like a show to make it look like, hey, there's people here. You're not seeing anything along Main Street that tells you people live in this town.
Okay.
Now, anyone else want to do anything while you're driving along here?
Simon's actually going to be talking up Declan in the back seat.
Okay.
I'm not a chump or a chisel there, old man. Curious to know exactly what it is that you're doing here in Chaplin. Seems as though you had your own personal business that has a bit of intrigue attached to it.
I'm not really in for the newfangled slang, so I'm not really understanding half of what you're saying to me.
My
Yeah,
question...
I've got business. How about yourself?
Well, I'm just here to work on my play, right? It is going to be a fine play that is going to rock the socks off of all those that are going to be willing to spend a little bit of cabbage to see it done. What is your business here in Chaplin, if you don't mind me asking?
Unfortunately, my business has to do with being a detective, so it's not really the type of thing I can get into.
Ah, are you here to be shooting that bean shooter there at your hip?
If I can avoid it, that would be best.
Well, I hope that we have no beef. I imagine you have quite a bit of experience firing that old thing.
Enough, I'm sure. But no, I don't see any reason why we would have any beef, or turkey, or any other type of meat.
Anyway, I'll continue just chatting and talking and using a bunch of the new language to just rifle up the old man.
All right.
And
I wonder if I need to.
I'll pull out a cigar and start smoking.
I wonder if it goes on too long if we'll have to do a sanity check for him.
I can't.
So,
I can't.
everyone in the
succeed on
car.
those. Don't do it.
As Declan actually pulls out that cigar, as Jack's kind of looking around, hey, old timer, you got? Can I get another one of them cigars from you if you got one?
Yeah. I'll pass one up.
Thank you, sir. Jack's gonna light it right there.
All right. Theo, are you doing anything or just concentrating on driving?
I'm just driving. I'm
All right.
used to hearing Simon prattle in the back.
So as you're
Thick, acrid, smart smoke of 2 cigars slowly fills.
Jack kind of cranks the window down a little bit. Let's in that nice October air.
So as you are traveling, you've moved probably several blocks. You're not going super fast. The cars are driving down, but the car in lead is kind of going slow, and it probably looks like they also are looking. They seem very cautious and are probably taking in the town as well. But as this happens, you start to see the street lights around you. They flicker and they go out. Also, your automobile lights, they flicker and go out. And as this happens, you again feel that chill, the hair stand up, but you hear something very different this time. You hear the sounds of growling. Before, you'd never heard really much from what you saw, but this time you hear what sounds just animalistic. And as you look around, you start to see these, again, shadowy figures. And there's about 3 of them that you notice.
So as this happens, Jack will take out one of the torches and light it and roll down the window. And since we're not going too terribly fast, I'm going to see if I can, if possible, make out what we at least light the torch and kind of keep it outside the car. Obviously, I don't want to light the car on fire.
So the vehicle has come to a stop.
You guys are driving along. You're just going to hear these, and you'll see these 3 creatures. They're still probably back by the back car, and they're just moving along. I don't know if my hand motions are really telling you much, but they're moving along, and that's all you can see right now. So there's 3 of these, and so you can roll down the window and hold your torch out. There doesn't seem to be an effect because they're still pretty far back. You're just watching them as they move to the back car. You'll notice that the car in front of you, I mean, obviously they've kind of tensed up, and the lights going out has had an impact on them, but you're not seeing a change in their driving yet. And the car in the rear, again, you're going to see similar. It may be that they don't even notice these things yet. You don't know, but they are moving up on the car.
I'm going to lean forward and just slap Jack in the back. Well, what do you make of that there, you snooper? I imagine these things are pretty fake. Somebody really must think we're a bunch of rubes. Why don't you squirt some metal at them and see what happens?
Simon, I'm not sure. Not sure a bullet's gonna do any good on these things. Let's. Theo, you want to step on it a little bit here?
Yeah, sure.
So make me a roll for your drive, and with Jack kind of looking back and doing his thing, I don't know if he's really helping you navigate at this point. So
No, I'm watching behind me.
Yeah,
I don't know what these are.
Oh,
and
great.
That bothers me.
Lighting
So
a torch to put out the window. He's occupied.
I got the torch out the window. That's also true.
Are you going to drive a little bit faster and pass the car in front of you, or what are you doing?
I'm probably going to just get closer to the car in front of us for now.
Okay.
I don't think I want to risk passing them yet.
All right. That's fine. So you're speeding up, and you do just fine. You get right up a little bit closer. You're putting some distance. As this happens, you watch as 2 of these shadowy figures jump for the car behind you. And one of them gets on top, and the other one is kind of latched onto the side. And the car starts to shake and swerve. You will start to even see some maybe gunshots that go through, or you're seeing guns light up. And at that point, when the lights or the gunshots start to light up, it's actually enough light that one of them becomes visible, and you can see what this thing looks like for the first time without the shadow magic.
How can we try and identify it?
Jack would recognize this.
You may roll an occult for that or not.
No, I think this one you would know. So
Do we need
there
a
you go.
sanity
You're able
roll?
to see it now. Yes, we will do a sanity roll.
I don't know that Declan is actually looking behind.
That's fine. If you haven't seen it yet, then you don't need to make a roll. But
Like,
anyone looking back,
I probably saw the shimmery things, but I'm probably not turned around in my seat watching it. I'm more looking ahead, I think, at this point.
and that's probably fair. I mean, I don't know if you get car sick or not, but that looking back can just really mess you up. Oh, Jack.
Oh, Jack.
Jack, this is just caught you off guard, and you're going to
Jack
do...
knows this is not good.
Yeah, 1
Jack,
plus 1 d4. So you need to roll me a d4
And I just take 1 sanity, right?
if you passed. Yep.
so I rolled a 1,
So 2.
Mr. Keeper.
Okay, so you take 2 sanity damage,
I can handle that.
and Simon, you just take 1.
Okay. I rolled a success with a 32.
Okay, you're going to keep driving along, and the gunshots are going off, and then you will see a creature get into the vehicle. More gunshots going off, and all of a sudden the car just starts to really slow down. And
Simon's going to retract his statement a little bit. Okay, I've never seen one of those before.
and you're going to see the car slow down, and then it just kind of veers off, and it just runs into another car. You just see the windshield kind of burst as one of the creatures comes out, and again, it's one, or you can see it, and it just lets out this howl, and they just stay there.
So, new rule. We see any more of those, you guys hightail it in the other direction. No ifs, ands, or buts.
I don't think that's a new rule.
And again, you are going to see more of them coming behind you all now. They are running, and they still have not been affected by the light, so these are still kind of in their shadowy phase, but you recognize it looks very similar to the ones before, and you're fairly sure. And you see 3 of them.
Just want to
They're
be
behind
clear. I did not slow down as the other car had issues. I'm pushing the car in front of us to go faster.
How far are we from Hank's Angst at this point?
So we have probably traveled, I'd say, about 5 blocks. I would say that you are about a fourth of the way there.
Fourth. Wow. Okay.
Just a suggestion. It might be a good idea for us just to go back.
Or at the very
Windows
least,
6?
just speed up.
Speed up. You don't go through those things. You don't.
I don't
Nope.
want to be at the end of the line.
Let's go. Let's go, Theo.
Can
know
I
where we're
try to
going.
pass
Let's go.
him?
Yeah. Make me a roll.
Is Jack helping navigate at this point, or is he still preoccupied?
I still got a torch out the window. I'm watching these things. I'm not
Okay.
like.
Either that or he's become fascinated with his name and he's writing his name with the torch.
It's like
Jack
sparkler
wasn't the
set.
best one to have up front. He's too distracted.
So, okay, you're going to pull
There's 2
out...
of the guys in the back seat.
can
they
I-
help
I feel
navigate?
like Declan is backseat driving at this point. Go,
Can I
go!
push that?
Get around
Declan
it!
would be one of those guys that would backseat
click
drive
on it.
anyway.
and see if it'll let you.
It gives me the option.
Okay. Then...
Oh, God.
Oh God,
So-
even
Rolled
worse.
the car. Jack's
So-
gonna
Yeah.
lose an arm because he's got it
You
out the
started,
No.
to
window.
try, you started to try to pull around them, and you started making progress, but you were just like, let's try a little bit harder, and you started to really floor it. The problem was not your driving, but that the car behind you started to see the things behind you, and then they no longer see the car that was even behind you, and they started to freak out, and they ran into you. And when they run into you, it kind of knocks you over, and you kind of scraped against the car next to you, but you took off like their mirror, and but you kept going. You were able to control it, but you didn't get past them, and they're now racing a little bit farther ahead of you. And the creatures are
Next to each
closing in.
other, or are they in front of us at this point?
They are in front of you, They've maintained the lead.
Which officer is in the car in front of us?
This one would be Officer Stevens.
Okay. As our cars kind of collide, I'm gonna yell out the car, Stevens, step on it. You never see the Sox win the series. Let's go. Because they hadn't. So.
All right. Let's see how well he is listening. I don't know that he hears you. He is actually stepping on it because he sees the things running behind them. But they have closed in the gap. They are now probably 5 feet behind your car.
Theodore, we don't even know what these things are. You're going to get us killed the way you're driving. Just pull over.
Theo,
I don't want one of those in the car.
Theo, do not pull over.
I'm gonna roll down my window and see if I can get Jack to hand me the torch since I'm in the back seat, so I can wave it back out the window behind me, which is closer to the shadow piece.
I'll hand him the torch.
And let me. It isn't so much that they're all three on the side. Let me make sure that this is. There would be one on each side and one running right directly behind you.
You all said that if there was light that was shined on them, they became solid enough to deal with.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand. So I'm gonna reach back because my arm's out the window. I'm gonna reach back and hand Declan the torch.
I'll try and take it from him, and I'm just waving it behind me out the window, hoping that there's enough light coming off the torch to dissuade them.
Okay. And let me see, Declan, you are right behind him. So this one, the one on your side will actually become visible. There'll be enough light that it's visible. You can see the creature running there. It is no longer kind of in that shadow phase.
Looks like a three-legged dog.
Theodore, do not get me killed, and I'll take care of it.
We're going to go into initiative.
I'm pulling my gun out.
I think for now I just have the torch in hand.
Okay.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't take a gun out.
I am actually going to
End up shoot Simon in the head.
I'm gonna start thumbing through my notes. If I can I see it all? Can I see my notes?
You just lost your torch, Jack.
I'm reading in the dark.
The torch is still there, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I'll give you that there might be enough light from the torch.
Let's see if I can find my notes. See if I have anything on these things. So I mean, I know what they are, but any specific kind of weakness if I know it. But I'm not pulling out a gun, I guess, is my point. So my initiative is where it's at.
Simon, you're up first.
I am going to actually scoot up so I can sit into the window ledge so half my body's out. And I'm going to pull out not only my gun, but I'm also going to pull out my pin light so I can use my light to shine on whatever it is.
Okay.
And fire with my other gun and shoot 3 bullets into this thing.
Okay, and are you aiming for the one that's right behind you that's still kind of affected by the shadow, or the one that's become visible?
The one invisible, I think, is on Declan's side, so this is going to be the one that's on my side. So it's going to be a whole new one.
All right, roll me a luck.
That's a 44.
Okay, unfortunately, when you turn on your pin light, it does not come on. And so, are you still shooting at it?
No, I would not.
Okay,
because I don't know if I'll be able to see it well.
So you pull it out. You have your gun kind of aimed at it. The light doesn't come on, so you're not going to shoot.
Can I fire across at the other one on the other side of the car then?
I feel like if you're sitting outside the window, you might be high enough that you could shoot at the other one. I would say.
Okay. Ooh. All right. So I fire 3 times with my gun across the car. And with those, I roll an 88 success, a 98 success, and an 88 success.
Oh my god.
Barely. My goodness.
So, go ahead
All
and
the viewers with your guns at. God, that's silly.
90.
That is extremely silly. And, oh my gosh, to do 23 points of damage. That's max damage on 2 shots.
You will hit this, and the creature will just fall down dead. And as you're driving, you see it there, and then you see this it just kind of flakes off into nothingness. Like it just dissipates and like it didn't exist. But it's gone.
Okay.
Now, roll me again. Let's see if you can get this. Another luck. Oh, so close. All right.
Still a failure at a 42. I need a 40 for a success. It's still
All
up.
right. So, okay. No, you did
Yeah.
not get any luck with that one. The moves
Sorry.
on. This one has been defeated. But the other two seem still like they are coming. And so the one on your side is going to make a jump attempt to land on the car, and so is the one behind you. Theo, you have a chance to make a driving maneuver in order to try to either knock them off or swerve so they miss. It's kind of whichever you're going to do, but make us a roll to see if you can do this.
I think I'm going to try and swerve
Nice.
Great.
with that 31
Nice.
success.
Do I need a dex save since I'm sitting in the window?
Yeah,
cavity?
make us a deck save. That's a
All
great
right.
idea.
No, I'm swerving in that direction, so he's actually slamming into the car.
That is a failure, but I can push it.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I'm
that's
gonna push-
worse.
Oh
So
no.
what'll
Oh,
happen?
no.
You're sitting there, the swerve comes, and you are going to drop your light. But you're able to catch yourself. You are able to catch yourself, but you do drop your light, and you're holding on. You're almost halfway, like about to fall out. So you're kind of hanging on for dear life right now. With that swerve, though, the one that was jumping from the side misses the car and kind of stumbles, gets back on its feet, and it's sprinting again. The other one, however, does latch on to the very back. And unfortunately, when you swerve towards them, so it was closer to the torch part, and it becomes visible, and it has sunk its claws into the car and is hanging on to the back of the car right now.
I'm so glad I did not drop my gun. I'm fine with losing the light.
I'm glad I didn't drop you.
That's what I expected.
Well,
and
I'm
you
good.
Slam
another
on the
job.
brakes.
feel the back tire go over his head.
He could still be alive.
Can I
You
do
are-
anything with my torch while I'm waving it?
You could probably maybe swing at it.
Well, I was just that's really all I wanted to do. Was it?
Okay,
Can I like get out of
use
the window
your-
more and try and slap
Right.
it?
You have one of your weapons. I think you have like a blackjack. Just roll that.
Okay. Oh, that's not good. That is a 98 failure.
All right. You swing at it. You don't really hit it. I mean, you miss it.
No, I miss it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. But you might have actually kind of smacked the car a little bit. Luckily, you're not in a wagon or something. You might have started a fire on the back of the wagon, but luckily you just hit the car and little sparks flew. But the torch and everything's still good. You're moving along.
Okay.
So we're gonna come around. However, as you guys are moving along, you are going to hear the sound of again howling, and 3 more have joined the chase. They're still probably about 10, or they're probably about 15 feet behind you, behind the others. You have one on the back side of the car by Declan. Its claws are in there. And the other one has fallen maybe about 10 feet back, but it's back on its feet and it's moving. And that one is on the side of Simon. Simon is precariously hanging out the window. His knees are probably on the window sill. His butt is hanging out. He's got one hand on. He's holding on to his gun. Hopefully that since Theo swerved to the right, he does not hit one of the parked cars that are zooming closer and closer to him. So there's a lot going on here. Let's see what's going on this next round. Simon, you still have your gun out, so you can take a shot while hanging out the window. But I guess what is your main thing here? Are you going to start shooting, or are you going to try to pull yourself back in?
I think I'm probably going to try to pull myself back in. That was a
All right.
very close call.
So when I do that, that'll move you back down under everyone else for initiative, because you're not utilizing your gun. So that brings up Jack. You are first. You have our fastest initiative here.
Talk to me about my protection spell.
So your protection spell, you have 2 options. You can put a protection spell on an individual person, or you can put it on like an area. And that can be put on, like, you can put it on the ground where it just stays on an area, or it could be put on an object. And if that object moves, that protection moves. It'd probably give you about 15 feet of like a diameter of protection, and typically what that does is it makes almost like a barrier for spiritual or some type of creatures that make it either difficult or impossible to pass.
All right. I was gonna try and shoot one of these things, but this feels like a better option now.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna start casting that protection spell on the car.
Okay. Pull this up real quick.
So I'm gonna pull out some sulfur and some iron, salt. Now, if I'm reading this right, I do take some damage when I cast this, correct?
Right. It requires blood.
Yeah. All right. So I'll take out my pocket knife or my switchblade, cut my hand, use the sulfur and the salt. God, that would hurt.
Yeah.
What dice do I roll for the health?
It depends on what you're doing. If you want to make it, you have 2 HP for a standard roll, 3 HP for an advantage, or 4 HP for 2 advantage.
Oh, let's just do the 3 HP and give myself
Okay.
advantage.
Oh, nice.
Extreme success with an 8.
Yes. So, as you
Nice.
all are driving along, you probably hear this, whatever noise. I don't know. What noise would you make when you feel this burn?
What noise would I make?
Yeah. Like,
I'm thinking Michael Jackson.
Be something like that, yeah. Yeah, just he's Jackson. Ah, fuck.
all right. So you hear this, and this all of a sudden this kind of glow comes from in front of him, and the car actually starts to glow, and this and it's going to glow this like green light, and as it has this green light intensifies, it kind of bursts out, and the creature that's on the back, you just see it get blasted off the car, flying away, and it is knocked to the ground, and it does its little thing of just dissipating and gone. And now your car is glowing green, and it's driving down the road. These creatures are still running behind you. They are closing the gap, but as one of them leaps, it is hit by this kind of like almost this field, and it falls away. Gets back up on its feet, and it starts running again. But the others seem to shift as if they're going to go around you and go for the other car. So they're moving away from you because whatever reason, either they sense it, they know what this is, or whatever. But they are now shifting. All the others have shifted, and they are moving around you. And it looks like maybe their heads are no longer looking towards you. They are looking towards the others, because this light has also made them all visible. And you will take 3 HP of damage.
Yeah, I already got that.
Okay, and then you will take 1 sanity damage for that. With that, we are up next, and I believe Simon.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slide in next to Declan and be like, I am probably tooting the wrong ringer, but I could really use a tomato and some tiger milk.
He's on the opium, boys.
All right.
The fuck's a tomato and tiger milk?
It's a pretty woman in a alcoholic drink.
Ah, okay. Fair. It's fine. I was just...
We're going to bring that one
Total
back.
sense.
So, all right. With that, is that all you're going to do? Just pull in and kind of
That's all I'm doing. I'm just sliding in and getting in my seat and be like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right. So the car is zooming by. Theo, you're up as you are driving. Are you going to still try to pass them, or what are we doing?
I think first thing is I'm going to look at Jack and ask how long he can keep this up.
I'm going to look at him with my hand on the floorboard. 5 minutes, give or take.
Now, unless something stronger strikes it or starts hitting it, then that can weaken it faster.
Right. I don't mention that.
Yeah. How far away are we, like time-wise, from Hank's?
With this roll, you've essentially moved another block in this time. So right now I know it sounds weird. You're probably you've moved one block. This would be onto your second block.
Okay.
We got 4 blocks to go.
We've gone 5 blocks, which was a quarter of the way, so we have 15 blocks to go, and we've gone one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's more of what I wanted. Thanks.
So we're from First Street to 20th Street.
Yeah, we're 3/10 of the way instead of 2/5 or
Right.
1/4.
Just remember that these cars often only traveled about 20 to 30 miles an hour safely. To go faster than that was really dangerous because of their tires, and often the roads were in the condition for them to travel.
Yeah, we're going 18 miles.
I'm sure we're fine.
It's fine. They didn't do high-speed chases in the 20s.
They were low speed.
I think I'm going to try and pass them again.
Okay.
See how that goes.
Pushing it up to 21 miles an hour.
Oh,
Hey.
Oh no!
Oh, God.
You gonna push it again?
Sure, why not?
Gonna blow a tire. There we go.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, there's a
Wow.
5 for an extreme success.
Dang. So at first, you started to move ahead, and they kind of swerved over the car in front of you, trying to keep you, because they must have the same thought in their head of, we don't want to be last. And when they swerved, you kind of anticipated it, and you did this nice little maneuver around them, going to the left. And as they went right, you went left and were able to just whip right past them. And now you're in the lead, and they are behind you.
And fucked.
I am not going to wait for them. I'm gone.
Okay,
Pushing it to 24 miles an hour.
God. You can hear the tires just
I know.
Whap, 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 whap.
So you are cruising along, and with that, you've passed them, and you have moved ahead. And as your speed increases, we'll even say that you get an extra block in there with that roll for your drive. So
Awesome.
They are behind you, and you will see the creatures. 3 of them actually will jump on the car and start to attack the car. You will start to see gunshots, and you will see some of the one of the creatures will fall off dead as the other 2 are trying to get their way in. Because they've been visible, you guys have dispelled that. They are able to actually maybe have a chance to fight them off. So they're driving behind you, and they are falling behind. And their driving has become a little more erratic as they're trying to fight off these creatures.
So the creatures didn't regain the shadows when they left the light?
Nope. They
Okay.
It stayed gone. We're going to go, and we are to our next round. You all are pulling away. You have this protection on you, and things are looking better for you. What are we going to do this round? Is anyone going to pull out guns and shoot at a distance at this car? Or are you guys just going to kind of buckle down and let's get the hell out of here?
In the last round, was I able to swing at them as we went flying away, or did we just kind of leave them so far behind that my torch is no longer useful?
I would say your torch is actually no longer really useful.
Okay.
Because when the barrier went up, it created this light
And
that
none
broke
of them came within swinging distance?
No, because now there's a barrier that keeps the creatures from getting close to your car.
Okay.
So,
Simon's not going to pull out his gun. I'm again going to be prompting Theodore to drive back to the police station.
Okay.
Find a way around the blocks and go back. Clearly, it's not a good time to be out on the streets.
I think it's going to be any safer at the police station than anywhere else.
I wouldn't be trusting those cops if I were you. I think it's better if we head on to where we were going, so we can put up our own lights.
Jack, you have anything to say, or?
Jack is concentrating on what he's doing.
Okay. Theo, if you'll make me another driving roll. Oh, nice. You are going to just continue to put distance between you. Again, you're driving at a great rate. You are able just to fly down this street another extra 2 blocks. Because of that success, you rolled a 7, and so that's really pushing you forward. And you will see the car behind you again, more flashes of light, and they seem to be coming along. They are still moving. They don't show that they have lost control or anything, but you just see flashes of light behind you, and that's about all because you're putting so much distance in with how dark it's getting. So
Awesome.
we're going to get into the next round, and everything's looking pretty clear, and it almost looks like you are ready when 2 different things in front of you appear. These shadowy creatures are very much different than what you've seen. They are huge. There are 2 of these standing on kind of either side of the road. They stand probably over 10 foot tall, and they look massive, even though they're kind of phased out and you can't really make out what they are. They are in front of you, and your car is approaching at a very high rate of speed.
Is there a street to turn off on?
I'm gonna
We
say
still got the
no.
barrier, right?
You still have
Yes.
the barrier.
Did the lights on our car turn back on when we put distance between us and the ones that were chasing us, or all that
They
still
have
off?
not come back on yet.
Okay.
No. And these creatures, it was basically you crossed through the intersection. You're cruising along at your high rate of speed, and these creatures have stepped out into the street. They're probably about 30 feet ahead of you.
Is
And
there
you're
space to get between them?
Where they've kind of come out, there's not. You could maybe you could try to make a driving maneuver. Let me say this: you could try to make a driving maneuver to get between them. You can try to hit like about in between them if you think you can, and kind of glance through both of them. You can swerve to try to hit one directly. You can slam on your brakes. Whatever option you want to think of as a driver.
Use the cars that are parked along the side of the road to ramp our car up and over them. There's got to
Yeah,
be
can I
like
do that?
an abandoned flatbed
Like
truck.
tow truck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can just.
Is that really what you want to try? 'Cause
Dukes,
Right into a mattress store.
yeah, Dukes of Hazard over these guys. Would
if
be
you
fun.
want to try that, just give me a luck roll, and we'll see what your luck is if there is such a setup like that. I won't tell you no. We'll see what the cards have it in for you.
I'm curious.
Womp womp womp. No, you rolled a 90, and
Yeah.
on a
so
30.
you looked for that ramp, and instead there was something there. It's like a flat in the back, some type of vehicle, whatever that's there. That if you tried to ramp it, you'd just crash.
We'll not go with that idea.
Yeah, probably not. And it wasn't a mattress factory or something that you could have ramped into. It looks like it
Dang.
might have actually been like
I was
a,
hoping.
A cactus and lemon juice
It's
store.
a
well,
text
I was thinking that
store.
or a candle factory or something,
A candle factory may not actually be bad. We just light that thing on fire.
Given
got-
that we've got this barrier and what it did to the dog thing, I think I'm going to try and hit one of them square on
Okay,
and get
give me a roll.
just barrel through 'em.
Okay.
No, that's
You
fine.
hit him, and it hits this creature, and it actually knocks it back, but you see the barrier come down. The barrier is broken, and as you're coming by, the other creature just smacks the side of your car, and it takes some damage, and you kind of lurch to the side, and you're losing control. So make me one more roll, and let's see if you can get it back in control.
Now, they would be visible, correct? Because we came close enough before
Yes,
impacting
they would be
them.
visible. And so when they become visible, this is what you're seeing.
Yes,
for reminding me
50
that.
on the dot.
Needed a 50, rolled a 50.
Can I slap it in the shin with my torch as we drive by?
Yeah, get it.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, he's cute.
Simon is questioning Theodore's life choices.
So the car swerves. You are able to correct. You know what? I'm going to let you. If you want to smack this thing with the torch as you go by.
Get it, Declan.
Just wanna
Right in the
feel-
kneecap.
I just want to feel useful. Nope.
No.
Nope.
So you actually do hit
I thought
it,
it was
and
a
it's like
6.
the torch just breaks off. and doesn't even like phase it. And you're just left there with this stub of a torch, and you're just like, and it probably let out a growl, and it now has turned and is starting to make its way after you all.
Okay.
So does that mean
piece of torch is under it?
I'll slide back in and toss the nub up front.
Here's your torch back.
So that's my question too. So does that mean there's just a small fire burning down by its ankles?
By its feet.
So I can flip out the other window and shoot the last 3 bullets in my gun.
It's visible regardless because
yeah,
of
it's
his
visible
protection.
regardless.
But yes, you can, sure.
And
say, yeah.
also the one that you knocked down, it will get up and it will begin its chase, but it's farther behind you because it took it a little bit longer. So you want to slide out there? Oh, nice.
Oh, I guess that's just one shot. I was trying to roll all of them, but that's okay. I'll just fire once. We're driving pretty fast.
All right, you fire once, and let's see, how much damage did you do?
2
damage. That's a success roll of 45.
Okay, awesome. So it takes damage, and it takes a shot, and it is moving after you all. And then you will also see in the background of just a silhouette of the car that was behind you. You will actually notice that they have decided to turn off and go off on another street after kind of seeing this thing ahead of it. So let's go into our next round. I believe, Simon, you have your gun out, correct?
Yeah, I pulled it out.
Without,
so you're
if
up
I
there.
don't have a torch, I'll pull out my gun as well.
All right, let's get your gun out. Whip your gun out. Theo's driving. Jack, are you going to have your gun out or?
I'll pull my gun out, yeah.
All right. So that'll put up Jack. You're up first.
Miss with an 81.
All right. So you fire and it misses. It is still moving towards you.
I'm gonna lean back into the car and start wrapping my hand.
Simon, you're up next.
I got 2 bullets left in the gun, so I'm going to fire both of them at this thing. And that is going to be 2 successes, one at a 97 and one at an 87. And it looks like it's going to be a total of 8 damage.
Nice.
All right. So you hit that one that you had already hit earlier, and it staggers and it kind of fumbles a little bit, but it's back and moving and still coming after you. And the one in the distance is still moving as well, but it does seem injured as well for being hit by that barrier and being rammed. But they are still coming towards you, but you did slow it down. All right, that's going to bring up Declan.
Okay, taking 3 shots at the one
All right.
closest.
Yes.
1 hit, 2 failures for 2
So you rolled
damage.
you rolled a 60, a 91, and an 87. The 60 was a hit. So you did 2 damage, you said?
Yeah.
All right. 2 damage. And the one that you guys have been shooting at, it kind of loses a step, slows down again, but it's back up and it's moving still. So you gained yourself a little bit of time, but it is coming still at you. Also, you will start to see that 2 of the shadow beasts have made ground. They are quicker than those giants, and they are caught up with the one that's a little farther back. And that's going to bring up Theo. You are driving.
So I'd like to speed up and try and put some distance. Shit.
So as you're speeding up, if you want to try to push that, you can.
Sure.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
So you start to try to accelerate, and when the creature hit the side of your car, it dented around where the wheel well was, and that's starting to rub on the tire. And you kind of pushed it some more, and that back tire now has just went flat. So you have a blowout, and your car is swerving, and you are really out of control right now. And so you're moving around. Make me another roll to see if you can kind of control it.
Oh, God. And we all die.
No, it's not so much. You are able to pull it to the side, but you come in hard, and you guys kind of smash into a car in front of you. And it's not like it was a huge accident that's going to cause you any damage. It wasn't a terrible failure. It's just you rolled a 64, but it just meant that you're not going to be able to get it back on the road, and you have kind of this soft crash in a sense. And you all have now the chance to either you're going to have to get out of the car, or you can buckle down in the car and start shooting from it. So we're going to start next round. Theo, are you pulling your gun out?
I will pull a flashlight out, and then I will be moving to try and secure.
So your
vehicle.
initiative will stay the same.
Hmm.
So we'll start up with Jack. You're up first.
I'm gonna get out of the car and shoot at the first thing in front of me.
Okay. And it's going to be the big one that you guys have been shooting at. You roll a 40, which is a failure.
How does luck work? Do I get luck back?
Does it say you can spend luck on your shot?
I can. I just need to know if I'm gonna get luck back.
Typically you don't. I think there are some ways you might be able to, and we can look at that, but it's just up to you. I don't know how much luck you'd be spending.
5.
And that's up to you, whatever your luck is.
10.
You have so
I thought
little luck.
mine was bad.
Does
God
it even
damn.
matter? Does it even matter?
That's kind of mad, honestly.
So you spent your luck?
I'm gonna spend the luck.
All right.
What's that damage?
Totally worth it.
All right, so you hit that one, and there you go. Next up is Simon.
I think I'm spending my round to reload my gun, right? That takes a full round
Yes,
to reload
it
it.
does.
And I've shot everything. So I'm just in the back seat with Declan reloading my gun.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Declan.
Okay, so at this point, Jack has climbed out of the car, right?
Yep.
And he just is standing outside the car?
He is
I'm
standing
out
up.
on the in front of the hood,
Okay.
shooting, pretending to shoot.
But Theo hasn't started moving towards the vehicle, right?
No.
Okay.
I assume I was able to express my plan at the beginning of the
I
round.
feel like you could express it that you were going to go look for a car to drive or something.
Okay, so I'm gonna climb out of the car, and then I kind of just envision that we're like wedged into some vehicles on the side of the road.
Right.
So I'm gonna climb out and try and move around those vehicles, so that I'm on the sidewalk potentially, and then fire from that position. Does that work for you?
Yep.
Okay, firing 3 shots for 2 successes at 61 and 54, and 1 failure at 98.
Oh, nice. Roll your damage. Just get some good damage here.
Damage is 6
Ooh.
and 4, so a total of 10 damage.
And the one that you guys have been shooting at, it goes down, falls to the ground, and again, it's there for a moment, and then it kind of shimmers away, and it just like flakes off like it was never even there, into like this ashes that just dissipate into the wind.
Okay.
So there's now one more of those giants coming at you, and or kind of the big ones, and then there's these 2 shadow beasts that are running. All of them are visible, and the shadow beasts are going to be up first. They're going to run, and one of them is just going to jump onto the top of a car that's right next to you, and it's all the farther it's going to get, but it just jumps, and it's in the process ready just to leap on whoever it sees. So it looks like it's getting ready to probably leap towards you, Declan. The other one is running towards down the middle of the street, and it has locked on to Jack. And yeah, I got my hands here. And it is moving towards you, and it is probably both of them get to probably about within 10 feet of both of you, ready to go. Theo, you are up. You're hearing the commotion. You've heard the gunfires, and you are still sitting in the car. You said you're going to go try to find another vehicle.
Yeah, so I'm basically going to exit our current vehicle and move like 2 cars down to find the first intact one that'll fit everyone.
Are you going to the rear of your car or to the front?
Further down the road.
Okay,
I guess
you're
to
going
the front.
I guess
the front.
which side of the road
You're on the right
did we
side.
crash on?
You're on
Okay.
the right side.
So all the cars are facing the direction we want to go. So further down the road in that regard.
Yes. So you'll be able to make it to a car, and you can grab the door, and it'll open, and you can go ahead and make me a roll to see if you can hotwire this.
Oh my god.
Other.
You can. I think you can push that one if you.
Oh,
I like that.
So as
It's
you
better.
you fumble with the wires trying to get them, and then you finally pull them out, and you touch the wires together, and nothing happens.
Okay.
So you're not sure if it's because you did something wrong, you grabbed the wrong wire, but nothing happens when you touch these wires together.
Well, electricity doesn't really work with these things around to begin with.
That could be it. All right. That brings the giant creature, and it does not move as fast as the beast. So it's probably gets to about 15 feet away from you all towards the car. It is focused, though. When you look and see it's focused on the car, it looks like it wants to go smash that thing.
That's the one that got hit, right?
Yeah, this is the one that got hit by it. So it looks like it just wants to smash this car. And so it is moving, and it is getting close to being able to hit it. We're going to move to our next round. Theo, are you doing anything different? Is anyone putting their gun away?
I'll be pulling my gun out.
Are the shadow beasts visible?
Yes, they have.
The small ones are?
Yes,
Okay.
they were the ones that are chasing you all before.
Okay. I'm going to be reloading this round. I'm out of ammo in my
So
gun.
you're reloading? All right.
If possible, I will be moving away from the creature whenever I do that, but we'll worry about that when I get to my turn.
All right. So Jack, you're up.
How close are they? Those beasts, 5-10 feet, you said?
The beasts are within 10 feet, and the big thing is within 15. One of them is 10 feet, pretty close to you. Just
I'm
right in
going to
front
go
of
ahead and
you.
do another protection. So
On
I'm going to put my gun
yourself or
away.
area? Okay.
Best I can.
All right. So
Can't shoot anything, so...
Are you doing 3 health again?
To give myself advantage?
Yeah.
No.
2 or 3.
I'm just going to do a standard roll.
Okay. So 2.
It's only 2. But because I put my gun away, that moves me down in the initiative
That's true.
order.
It does. And Simon, you're up.
So I am going to be crawling out of the back seat, I guess getting out on Declan's side because my side smashed into a bunch of cars, and aiming my gun at the beast that has leaped on top of the cars right behind us to fire 3 shots, while yelling at Declan, "We were better off under glass." I'm going to shoot 3 shots, all successes at 54, 91, and 53 for 6 points of damage.
And who are you shooting at?
The beast on the car that's jumped up onto the vehicle.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
And you hit
the
it,
smaller one.
and it's going to fall down dead. It shrivels up and goes to ashes and disappears. So Declan, you are up. The one that was in front of you looked like it was about ready to pounce on you. Simon kills, and almost sounds like Simon says, but
Oh, he killed the
Simon
one in
killed-
front of me?
yeah, it was on the car, perched, ready to jump on you.
Oh, thank God, because I didn't have a plan. I am going to still back up down the street a little ways
Okay.
as I reload my gun. But that's
Okay.
what I'm spending my turn doing, is just reloading.
Theo, I think we missed you.
Do I have a line on the one that was aiming at Jack?
Probably not, with it being so small and you're a little farther back. You would be able to see the big one, though. That's
I'll shoot the big one.
okay.
That is 3 failures.
77,
Damn.
72, and a 95.
And I needed a 70.
Yep.
I can't hit this thing!
And it was worse that when you started shooting, you were just pointing up in the air. Why can't I hit it? No. So you, you miss. And are you going to do anything else? Are you going to move closer, stay where you're at?
I think I'll probably move to where I'm kind of behind this car.
Okay. And by moving there, you'll probably be able to see that creature that's out in the street, ready to jump on Jack. Jack, what is... Your dex is 65. And this
Yes.
creature's dex is 60. So you are slightly ahead of it. The creature's about ready to jump on you. So
How
you
close
get to
is it?
attempt your... it's... I think we said it was, what, 5 feet? No, 10 feet.
Okay. I'm going to do an area protection again, like I did with the
Okay.
car, only I'm going to do it on my jacket,
Okay.
so it moves with me, right? Is that theoretically how that
Yeah.
would work then? But I'm only going to do a normal one.
Okay.
I'm not spending more HP than I need to. So I'm gonna pull up my switchblade, cut my other hand, put salt on there, and then put it on my jacket.
Nice.
13 for a hard success.
Yes. So awesome.
Which gives me stronger protection, is all
Yes.
it says.
So essentially the field will come out about 15 feet. It's going to hit that creature and knock it back. And as it flies back, you will see it kind of hit across the street on another car and it will flake away. And then the larger creature is just outside of range. It's going to pop up right in its face. So it doesn't necessarily get the knockback, but it'll be its turn, and it kind of hits it, and it takes a step back, and it just brings a mighty fist, and it hits, and you feel everything quiver, but it holds, and the creature can't get through. And so
this
it
is
is
the big
outside.
guy, right?
Yeah, this is the big guy. Like
Okay.
it quivered. It took quite a blow there, but it is holding for now. And we will move up to the next round, which will put up Simon.
And everybody else at this point, just so I'm aware of where kind of everybody is, they're all behind me yeah, technically, yeah, behind me, down the street from me, correct?
Essentially,
I know
I think
Theo went to another car, Declan moved to the opposite side of the street, and Simon was heading that direction, correct?
is that where Simon ended up going?
I'm still
I'm
at
still
our
outside the
original
car.
Yeah, I think Simon's standing in front of you.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
Simon's
in the bubble.
Yeah, he's in the bubble.
Okay.
And everyone will see kind of this barrier of green light spread in a circle, basically centered around Jack, which
Okay.
you've seen before on the car.
So, question one is the large creature. You said it's by the bubble?
He's like
on
right
top of us.
outside.
All right. Question two, can I fire outside this bubble?
Yes.
Okay. So my bullets will go through the bubble.
Mhm.
Okay. So I will aim at the large creature then, I guess, by Jack and I,
Okay.
and fire my 3 bullets, hoping to drop this thing. And that looks like it is going to be 3 successes at 51, 99, and 38. And that is going to be a total of 13 points of damage.
Oh, yeah. You are just going to blow this thing away. And at that, it'll seem like things are kind of coming back to normal, and you will start to see lights around you come back on, the street lights, and even your car has one working headlight. It kind of comes on, but flickers and then goes out.
I've been in some pretty rough situations before, Dick. This is almost appearing to be duck soup. Are you really sure these things are dangerous?
Well, you're more than welcome next time we tangle with one to stay behind.
Stay behind and fight it solo?
I wouldn't advise it, but you're more than welcome. They're very much real.
Well, I don't see any evidence of it standing here. Seems as though my bullets pass through and it fizzles away. Just hard to
Yeah.
believe that it's not an illusion is all.
And what exactly are they?
Yeah, this. You know when you're a kid and playing dusk time and you see just kind of off the side of your vision those things that just kind of dance between light and just kind of seem to move, and you look and there's nothing there, but you swear you saw something. It's kind of like that. They the shadow demons, the beasts, the creatures, they come from the shadow realm. This place is not like Oz. It's different but the same. You notice as we go up and down the street, nobody's here. All these cars, these buildings, it's all here, but nobody's here.
Which I'm rather curious about, Theodore, considering that you've said that you've been here a number of times. Has it always been this empty?
I've always known it was an unwelcome place. I never tallied too long.
I can tell you, these things are real. And these things get a hell of a lot worse.
Alright,
So-
well, how do we leave then?
We gotta figure out what's stopping us first. So I said we head to Hank's, find out what this book is that your boys are after. And then we go from there. Any of you guys don't have a sip, do you? Scotch, whiskey, bourbon.
I wish I had something to get smoked. I'm gonna start reloading my gun,
All right.
and I'm gonna cheese it away inside my jacket.
I got a salt pill.
I got some cigarettes, but that's about it.
That's the wrong thing to say.
So, yeah, Theo, how about you? I'd help, but I can't really use my hands at the moment. So
Is this shit?
it's because I got my hands.
Hey, Theo.
I can't help, right? I can't help Hotwire. He cut his hands.
Just got the other one, the same one twice.
That's
It
what I wanted to
doesn't
say.
work that way.
Peyton.
It doesn't work that way.
Oh, okay.
You can't do that.
Such a dick.
What is he gonna do next? Start cutting his feet, back of the legs.
Your strategies are really beginning to cause me to question you. You've done more damage to yourself than they've done to you.
All right. So
I have.
you tried to hotwire the car. It didn't work. You have a little more time to look at that. I don't know if anybody is wanting to check out the area around them as you're trying to figure out how to get to Hanks.
As he's hotwiring the car.
I mean,
Go ahead.
cursory, probably.
Okay.
Same thing I was doing before while we were driving, right?
Okay.
I'm
Just
kinda
make spot
looking for-
hiddens. Because this
You
time
wanna-
you'd actually be able to look at buildings and.
You want to drive check or something to try and get
Yeah.
it?
That's a
Another
hard
car
success
working?
with a 32 on spot hidden.
I got a normal success with a 41.
Ooh, and Theo with a 10.
Found a working car.
Ooh, that's a failure for Simon with a 93. Probably because I'm standing next to Theo, being like, when we get out of this, Theodore, you're going to owe me a new pin light. You brought me to this town.
Of course, sir.
As
As soon as we leave.
Let's start with the spot hiddens. What you both are just going to observe is, again, it's like everything's supposed to look nice up front, but when you look and try to see through the windows, your flashlights are working, you can kind of shine through them. Everything looks like it hasn't been used. Like, things are falling apart. There's even some places where you look, it looks like there's been water damage into the buildings, and some of the roofs have, or the ceiling has caved in because there's so much water damage. Like, the front and what you see on the outside looks like it's supposed to, but everything else seems fake, or it's just not maintained, or nobody's using these buildings.
For
And-
what I... Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. And so that's what you notice when you look around and kind of the area. Did you have a question there?
Yeah, what I know about the Shadow Realm is that normal? Like, is this... Like,
These buildings are
Do
not
I
part of the
sus-
Shadow Realm. No, these have
okay,
nothing
yeah,
to do.
my suspicion was, is this... Are we in the Shadow Realm, right?
Yeah, no. You do not feel like you are in the Shadow Realm or anything. Like this, what you understand of the Shadow Realm is that you might see objects in the Shadow Realm, but they are just like shadows. There's no
Gateways
color,
kind
there's
of a deal.
nothing. And the farther you get away from whatever the portal or opening that you have, the more empty and black everything gets, and that's what they called the void. So this has nothing of what you would think, because I don't think you've never been in the Shadow Realm, but
No.
what you understand it looks like, this looks nothing like it. This looks like it's real. It just looks like somebody's maintaining the outside of these buildings, and they're not doing anything about the inside. It's almost all for show, is what you're kind of getting the feel.
Okay.
Theo, you go and you are working on this car, and I mean, you're looking at it, and you realize that these cars aren't going to run, period. Like, there's no battery, there's no gas in them. Again, these cars, you check car after car, they're just for show. There's no way to run them. But with your roll, you know that the main issue with your car is just the tire. While you did crash into it, that back tire being out was going to make it undrivable. So essentially, you guys can change the tire, and your car would be able to get you to Hanks. And luckily, the wheels there have air in them, So they're maintained, and so you could take a wheel off one of the cars sitting on the street and change that out.
Yeah, I'm not really a repairman.
Does anybody have mechanical repair?
Simon does not change his own tires.
Yeah.
I have a 10 in it.
Well, I mean, I have a 10
Yeah,
as well.
I got 10.
Look, I'm not going to make you guys roll on that. You guys will be able to change
Between
the
the three stooges, we figured out how to change
Yeah.
the tire.
4 men standing here, we can't change a damn tire.
So
Pretty sure that goes on the car. No, it doesn't. You're lying.
No, you
I
gotta
see.
do it backwards.
Exactly.
you
Extra
get the car,
bolts?
and I'm going to say it takes you probably about, we'll say 45 minutes to get the wheel on and get down, and you finally arrive to Hanks.
Jesus.
I'm including the drive
Faster
to
to
Hanks.
walk.
We did go 15
Okay.
blocks, okay?
Well, we went like another 5. We're like halfway there. It was 10 blocks, and we took 45 minutes to change our
Could have
tire.
walked
I was just
faster.
walk faster than that. Seriously,
Third of
guys,
the
I've seen these tires before. They serve as hood ornaments. You just got to get them fastened right on the front.
So, as you arrive, to your surprise, you will arrive at Angst. There will be a car in front. The car
Yeah, ours
is
that we left when we were arrested.
well, no, your guys' cars are there, yes. However, the
Why
one
did we just walk
officer
there?
that what?
Why didn't we just walk there if our cars are waiting for us? We didn't even need this car.
There's another car there, and it is the officers that turned off the road. And
And who was that?
it was the one that you only know that you
Stevens?
saw. It was Officer Stevens, and then the three other officers with him. So their car is in shambles. Like I'm just imagining that, like, all the windows are out, the top's all scraped off. There's a gunshot from it because they were fighting, but they had turned off, and for whatever way they made it there. And they're kind of just standing outside. They see you guys pull up in your car, and their car definitely looks like it's probably barely made it.
I was gonna say, surprised to see the 4 of you here. Did you also have to rub out some rubes?
I don't know what that means. But
Did you have to kill some easy marks?
if you call those things easy, I don't know what happened to Detective Confer. Did you guys see what happened to his car?
Yeah,
He
Stevens.
stopped.
And he didn't
He
start
stopped.
again.
Oh my. Oh god. Oh, well, I guess it's up to us. What I don't even know what we're doing here.
Well,
I
thanks for your
suppose-
help back there. We appreciate it a lot.
What do you mean? You guys tried to ram us off the road and get those creatures on us.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I wasn't driving. I was waving a torch at the damn things.
I was trying to clear the way.
All right, so you guys wanted to come here. What are we looking for? What are we doing? I'm not even sure if I
You
want
guard
to
the
try to turn it
perimeter.
back.
Are the lights on inside?
Yeah, the lights are in the building.
I'll step inside.
I think we will.
No one answers them. We just walk past and go inside.
Theo did. Theo told him to guard the perimeter, and as far as Declan's concerned, that's good enough. He doesn't.
I know, they're just like, what are we doing here? And he's like, guard the perimeter, and we all just walk inside.
He's not gonna. He kind of feels like, yeah, that's fine. They'll stand out here and take a perimeter.
Can anyone tell us
Stevens,
why we're
if-
here? Yeah, just guard the perimeter.
Let us
If,
know if the
if-
darkness is coming back.
Stevens, might suggest get some books, build a pile, get it ready for a fire, in case the lights go out again.
That's not a bad idea.
You want us to just start grabbing stuff off the shelf?
Read the spine, please, if you would.
We don't even know
no
the name
idea
of
what they're looking for.
We don't even know what we're looking for.
Oh, they don't know what they're looking for.
No, they asked us
I
why
assume
we're
they
here.
knew. That's true, I guess.
Yeah, everyone has said you'll know it when you see it. That's been the key word. Maybe it's called you'll know it when you see it.
Volume 2.
Yeah, it's volume 2.
So what I'll end up doing then? Obviously, I assume the front counter is made out of wood.
Yeah.
So, just clean off the front counter and break it apart. Build you a little pile. Don't burn any papers. Don't burn any books.
All right. They'll come in here and start prying up on the counter.
I just don't want to burn anything we may need. We don't need the counter, so.
All right. They're going to start working on it. You'll just hear this smacking away. I don't even know if they have tools to pry this up.
You can rip that kind of stuff apart. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look over to Theo. All right. So you knew Hank, right? You know where his office was?
So I would say what you remember, Theo, is off to the kind of the east over here in this area are restrooms. Over here to the west, this is the room where Simon noticed that there was water damage along the bottom of the wall and the door. And this was the door that Frank was trying to get into, but the door wasn't opening. So you've never been in this room. You don't really know what it is. You've been in the warehouse, and you know that there's some rooms in the back, but you've never been back there either. I will also say that for the most part, this pile that you would have seen, it's been there, but it's always grown bigger. But you've never really, even if you've asked, you haven't been given an answer. It was kind of brushed aside.
Say that I don't know where his offices are exactly. I've never been in that room or in the back.
Well, we'll start with what's close. And Declan's gonna see if he can't get into that room.
Okay.
Is it locked or just wedged?
It's wedged.
Oh, one of you young guys with a little bit of more muscle, would you mind helping me out with this door?
I suppose I can try to push it in.
Here's what happens. You hit the door, and literally the door just kind of comes off its hinges, and you go flying into this room. And what happens is you knock the door down, and it kind of comes apart, and you realize that this door has just been rotting away from the inside of this room. It is foul smelling. The ceiling has actually collapsed in here. There is mildew and mold, and it is musky as heck. You basically knock it down, and that odor just hits you. Luckily, though, the door did go with you and made an effective shield so that you are not laying in it. But you almost want to throw up when you get into this room. And it is just awful. Like, there's no words to describe it. There's nothing salvageable, but this room has not been used in what feels like years.
I am going to struggle to my feet, just coughing and trying to cover my face up. That was eggs in the coffee. God. Listen, you old button. Don't ask anything else out of me for the rest of the night, and I'm going to walk back out of the room.
I'll just kind of pat you on the shoulder as you walk by. Thanks, there. I appreciate it.
Just gonna look in the doorway.
Yeah, I'll try and poke in. See what's up.
And I'm going to say that this seems very reminiscent to some of the buildings on Main Street that you saw. That this room looks used, it's maintained, but for whatever reason, this room it's been ignored. Like, even when the ceiling has collapsed in, nobody did anything, no one seemed to care.
Can we tell what was this room?
It looks like it would have been like an office.
Is there a desk in here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go.
I mean, what you
I'm
could
gonna
tell. Well, I mean, like, I'm gonna say there's remnants of a desk. There, like I said, it is wet. It is moldy.
Sure.
There does not seem to be anything that is salvageable in this room.
Okay. So, what you're saying is don't bother.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You don't even need a roll for that. You know that this room is.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, I'll give Theo a chance to, or other people a chance to do stuff. I'll be heading back towards the back rooms as soon
I
as
say
I
I'll
can.
move in
Okay.
the back, but I'll
I
wait.
was going to head towards the warehouse door and go in that way while they were messing with the office.
You will see the body of Hank.
Oh, well, since we didn't get a chance to properly search him, I guess I'll start there and search his body. See if there's
Okay.
anything interesting or valuable, or, well, not valuable, but valuable to me.
You say that, but Theo
Force of
searched him
habit.
pretty good.
Spot hidden. Are you checking like just his physical to see if he has anything on him, or are you like checking his body to see like how he was killed or anything?
I'm not. I assume that he died from the shadow nonsense, but if I come across something, I'm mostly interested in what is on him.
You're gonna find quite a bit of papers. They're kind of separated into 3 different piles.
I'll take them all and start looking through them if I can.
Okay.
Theo's looking for some materials amongst the shelves.
All right. Give me a spot hidden. All right. Your first attempt to
There
look.
we go.
You're kind of lost in thought, and you realize, oh gosh, I'm staring at books. No wonder there's no ingredients over here. No, you step to the side and you start looking at the ingredients, and you do find 10 units of essential salts.
Do I find any of the acids?
Because of your roll, you found the salts. You don't need the acid.
Okay.
The acid is what you use to create the salt.
Yeah, I just wanted that as a backup.
Oh, that's fine. Roll me a luck. You did not find any acid.
Almost.
So
Okay.
you have 10 units of the essential salts.
Sweet.
I don't know that Simon is doing anything more after his rendezvous with the door and the mildew. He is just kind of standing near the front, watching the officers, peering back into the back room every now and then. Still kind of like taking things in and figuring out exactly why we care so much about this.
All right, Jack, what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna head back to those offices back there.
So as you come into these rooms, they are not so much offices. The back rooms are going to look a little bizarre to you. There's no furniture in them. What you see are more rings, like on the floor, that are spaced out. And this is in each of these rooms. They're spaced out like you see on the stage, or the platforms up there. You will also see in these rooms that there are chains.
Okay. Any particular? I mean, are they? I assume they're laid out in a certain pattern or order.
The chains are like piled in kind of a corner.
Okay. What about the rings? Are
The
they
rings
laid out?
go like along, so about a third of the way across the room is one row of rings, and then a third of the way across the other part of the room is another row of rings. And they just make a line.
Okay. In all of the rooms, it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look at the rings.
Okay.
Any wear, tear, scuffs, cuts, stains?
Hmm.
Do I feel like they've been used for a summoning?
Make me an intelligence roll.
36 for regular success.
So you start to look, and one of the things you start to put together is those chains would fit through the rings.
Yeah.
And essentially it looks like these rings would be something that you would attach, maybe basically imprison people in.
Oh.
And they were meant to keep people.
So they're
chained
smaller.
or-
They're not like big rings. They're like hand rings.
No,
kind of
no.
things.
They're like rings big enough for a chain to go through. The chain goes through the rings, and then
Gotcha.
people are attached to the chain,
Gotcha.
and they are secured there, which for you would make a connection to part of what you heard.
Right.
So this seems to connect with kind of the information that you have. And you would imagine that some people were taken up on the stage and they were chained there as well.
Okay. Any kind of hair, clothing,
They're
scrunchies? I don't know if scrunchies were a thing in the 20s, but
I
scrunchies.
mean, yeah, you probably find a little bits of maybe hair here or there, maybe even a little bit of blood stains. Nothing like it looks like people are just like slaughtered in there, but
Okay.
all right. All right, we're gonna move back around for Declan.
Okay. I think, honestly, Declan is so confused by the information that he has, he is probably still just trying to peruse it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's trying to decipher what he's reading, and he's struggling because all of this is just foreign nonsense to him.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's probably still doing that, to be perfectly fair.
Yeah, no, and I figured that would probably be the case with the information that you received.
Mm-hmm. I think that I can glean a couple of things from it that Declan is like, okay, so maybe this has to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all supposition at this point. He doesn't know anything definitively based off the information he found.
Okay. We'll go to, I think, Theo, you were kind of next. You found your ingredients. Are you looking anywhere else or looking at anything else?
Gonna peruse through the books.
Okay. Make me a spot hidden.
Nice.
Oh,
That's a 17
yes.
for a hard success.
And you are going to find a book that you recognize the title of.
Yes. Wait, I'm gonna slip that in my satchel.
Okay. I guess, Simon, you've been watching them. Let's see how well they've worked on this counter. Not too bad. They've got some boards pried up, and I don't know if it's so much that they're just used to working harder, not smarter, or maybe smarter is just not in their vocabulary. But they've got a few boards. They're going out, and then they're kind of figuring, what do we light? We can't just light the boards. It's we're gonna have to have something. And they're brainstorming and trying to figure this out.
Okay, I'm probably going to just move forward past them and go in here to kind of holler out, have we found what we're looking for yet? Did you guys find it? And just kind of look down the aisles to kind of see where everybody's at as I'm walking through. I am going to peer down an aisle and just grab the first book that I find in hopes that it's like whatever it is that they're looking for.
Roll me a luck.
So luck is a 31 for success.
It is probably not the book they're looking for, but you find
Kama Sutra of the Dark Side.
That's the book Simon's looking for.
You're going to find just an old rustic journal.
Okay.
You look at it, and it will say that basically you have found a journal that is Hank's.
All right, so I'll grab up the journal and start flipping through it.
Okay. And what you'll see when you look through, since you don't have it it's going to describe his early life. He doesn't say what exact year, but you find out that he was born sometime in the 1700s. And he was born in a place where there was a lot of turmoil, that his people, he didn't really write a lot of identifying information, but it was just that his people were never welcomed. They were often mistreated, and eventually he ended up leaving and ended up in America. Again, he doesn't give a lot of details because it was more just little small things that he wrote of thoughts and his ideas and how he felt. He was kind of a touchy-feely person. And so he later then describes that he got involved in this group known as the Dreamwalkers. And it explains about the Dreamwalkers. And they are, you'd probably describe them basically as a cult, that they had what people came in and they described them as sleepers. And sleepers, in their belief, were the people that kind of had their first level of awakening, and they had the ability to become dreamers, but they were kind of the low ranks. And so whenever they would move into a town, and it was the sleepers' jobs to recruit more sleepers. And so they would move to try to recruit people in. And in that process, typically they couldn't stay long because people would get mad because they thought they were corrupting their youth, and they'd have to move on. So they were very much a transient group that moved around. Once people had become sleepers, they could move up to dreamers. And dreamers had even more kind of levels of what they could do. And the dreamers had direct contact with what was known as the dream walkers, who were the highest group. And then there was another group called the others. The others were like forbidden for anyone having contact with other than the dreamers. And the way they described the others is they were like sleepers, but they had no capacity to ever awaken from or to arise to the dream. So the others were kept separate, and only the dreamers had contact with the others, and no one knew what happened to them except for the dreamers.
So I found a very elaborate work of fiction, and I'm gonna put it in my pack so I can work this into my screenplay.
Yep, and I'll get you more of the details that you can look at too, but that's kind of what you're skimming through, what you're finding out.
It was like, man, this guy had an imagination. Born in the 1700s. Okay.
Yeah. What are you doing, Jack?
Well, I mean, I've exited the room at this point, so I'm going to make my way down this bookshelf towards Declan. I'm going to look at the books as I move, but my goal is to head towards Declan, and because I knew Hank's body was over there.
Okay.
Just given what I found, I'm actually looking for like a key or anything like that. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna look at the bookshelves as I go, but my goal is to head towards Declan.
Do me a spot hidden, but give me a 1 disadvantage. I feel like your attention's kind of divided.
Okay. I mean, I have the ability to push that. Do you want me to? Means I have disadvantage or not?
No, we won't.
Okay.
Because I don't think that's your main focus. You're really wanting to talk to Declan. And so you kind of glance out of the side of your eyes. You don't see anything that catches your eyes. I mean, you recognize that there are ingredients to various spells. There might be scrolls and stuff, but you really want to talk to Declan. So you're just going to go over and start talking to Declan.
Hey, little timer. Did you find anything useful?
What do you know about all this? There's some kind of nonsense going on, and I can't make heads or tails of it. Who is this fella? What are they doing here in this town?
I can't say. Hank had a nasty streak by the look of it.
Yeah, I don't get the impression that he was a likable enough fella. From what I can tell, they were grabbing people against their will.
That fits
Kidnapping.
from what I found. If you head back in those rooms, you'll see all kinds of chains, rings.
Figure
Stayed up back here.
Figure out who anybody is.
I have a suspicion. Did you find anything on the old man?
I found all this nonsense. Some shite about spells and shadow councils and all kinds of nonsense. And some kind of cult is my best guess. But my biggest concern is that it seems like I said they were grabbing people, and to be perfectly frank with you, that's what I'm here for, is to figure out some of the folk you've been taking. So, if you want to look at this, that's fine, but if you find anything that tells you anything about anyone who got grabbed, that's the information that I'm after.
The only thing I'm seeing is, as I said, it looks like they kept him in the back room. You can take a check if you want.
You didn't find any, and I want to be clear, just so there was no people that were found back there.
Yeah,
It was just
I know. It was just more evidence of such. So you're handing me the papers, is what you're getting at?
Yeah, I'll pass you the papers.
And I've made you so you can see them.
And I'll probably go through the rooms and I'll look at the rings to see if any of the rings have like initials or anything else like that in those rooms that would give me a clue as to like who was back there potentially. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You won't necessarily find anything that tells you who, but
Sure.
You're going to find a lot of, again, it's a well-used room. Some stains look more fresh than others. Again, looks like anyone was killed back there, but it does look like people might have had some injuries or something, and there's small amounts of blood.
Okay. All right. That's what I'll spend my time doing, though, is I'll be going through and trying to see if I can find stuff. Doesn't seem like I probably will, but that's where I'm at.
So it sounds like, Jack, are you going to be going for those papers he handed you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll read these.
We'll do kind of one more round, and then we'll probably call it an evening. And so I don't know what are you doing?
Since those two are still kind of going through rooms and papers, I'll probably take this turn to try and find some of the acids. And then after that, I'll probably meet up with Simon.
That's what you're doing. And Simon, you found some book that interests you.
Yeah, I'll actually come and track down Theodore after pocketing the journal that I had found. I imagine as I'm walking by, I'll kind of look on the shelf for anything else as I'm coming up to him. That's a success roll with a 21. Maybe I find his acids, I don't know. But whatever I find off the shelf, I'm just going to grab it and hand it to Theo as I come up to talk to him.
You are going to see a book that catches your eye, and it is about muses and sources of inspiration.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that interests you.
Yeah, that would probably interest me.
So you will see this book, and it will be there on the shelf. So if you want to pocket it.
I'll actually take that one and put it in my own pocket. Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe
I can just see you walking up, like grab the book and start handing it to him. You go, oh.
Yeah, that's actually pretty nice.
Never
So
mind.
I'll pocket that one, and I'll give Theodore the journal.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'll hand him the journal.
Okay.
Theodore, I'm glad to have a moment alone with you. I feel like I need to check in and make sure that I can trust you. We've known each other for a while, but you clearly held your secrets.
I may have secrets, sir, but have I ever not been there for you?
Well, thus far you have, but and I'm going to look over my shoulder, back towards where I know the other gentlemen are, the police and the detective. It seems to me that some here may be interested in having me in their company, and I'm not quite sure why.
Do you think we need to get away from them? Do you think they're a threat?
Well, if it were all up to me, we would be long gone from this town as soon as we're able. But from what I hear from the lot of you, and from the police, is that there's not an exit to be had. I just need to know that if things are turning sour for me, that you will not betray me.
I will always have your back, sir.
I appreciate that. I know my family and I have a lot of cabbage, and I can't understand what else they'd be after.
That seems like a solid theory.
All right. Well, we will end there, and thank you for joining us. We will have our next session, and we look forward to having you there. Remember to like and subscribe to Dungeon Brew, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time for our next adventure.
DungeonBrew.
Oh, it's so fucking Irish. I don't know why I'm talking Irish.
You're welcome.
God damn it, John. I gotta go listen back to my accent so I can find it again.
All right.